My name is Kelly Robinson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm proud to serve as president of the Human Rights Campaign, our nation's largest civil rights organization working to achieve full equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people across the country. Thank you for inviting me to submit testimony at this important hearing. On behalf of HRC's more than 3 million members and supporters, I've come here today with a single message. The LGBTQ plus people of the United States are living in a state of emergency. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a dramatization. More than 525 anti-LGBTQ plus bills have been introduced this year in the states. More than 220 of those bills target the transgender community, many targeting children, transgender children. And more than 75 of those anti-LGBTQ plus bills have now become law.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We got to take a look at a judiciary hearing that happened today in regards to protecting the rights of LGBTQ plus citizens. Now, Riley Gaines was there, the former NCAA All-American women's swimmer, and there was also a woman by the name of Kelly Robinson, who we're going to be taking a look at today, who is the new president of the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign. Now, before we start the video, just want to mention, like we saw in the intro, Ms. Kelly Robinson, who's the president of the HRC, seems to be of a mind that LGBTQ plus citizens don't have the same rights that everybody else does, and that they are living in a state of emergency and under attack because of laws that are on the books, because of a rise in LGBTQ plus hate. And I got a clip right here where she's going to go into a little bit more detail about that.
We're sitting here 7 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting where 49 lives were stolen, and just over 7 months since the shooting at Club Q that stole 5 lives from the community. This uptick of violence is real, and you've said it already. 1 in 5 of every hate crime is motivated by anti-LGBTQ plus bias. The other reality that we know is true is that these bad bills targeting the community are often accompanied by campaigns of misinformation and lies that sow fear and transphobia in communities. The very fact that we can't identify Leah Thomas as a transgender woman is playing into the fear and anxiety that's motivating these hate crimes. I talk to people every day. I talk to pediatricians that are being escorted to their cars by armed guards because of the bomb threats that they're receiving. I talk to drag queens who are being confronted by Proud Boys with AR-15s outside of drag queen story hours. This epidemic is real and requires action, both legislative and also cultural, in stopping this ability for people to just spout lies about our community.
All right, so you guys saw that. Now, I don't think nobody should be resorting to violence or threatening people, but when it comes to the legislation and bills being passed in regards to LGBTQ plus issues, I think these laws are on the books to protect women, to protect underage children. That's what these laws are for. And we have to admit that this is a relatively new phenomenon. Yes, I'm calling it a phenomenon in today's day and age where gender has become 100% fluid, and men can be women, women can be men. There are gender neutral bathrooms, and if you identify as a woman and you're a man, you can go into the woman's bathroom. You know, a lot of these laws on the books, I think, are aimed at protecting people who, you know, could potentially be at risk or harmed by this looseness in what it means to be a man or a woman based on gender. And I've been talking about it in a few of my videos lately that I really do think the whole gender concept was really just involved to stoke confusion and stir up confusion amongst people, because I really don't see the purpose that it serves. Like, why is gender even so important? If you feel like a man today, cool, go dress like a man, you know, but you know, you shouldn't be able to go into the man's bathroom or vice versa. If you feel like a woman, you shouldn't be able to go into the woman's bathroom. But I digress. Now, lastly but not least, I'll add, you would think as the Human Rights Campaign president and chief that the rights of all humans would be a concern of yours. However, you know, when you hear the word human rights nowadays, for some reason, it seems to be oddly skewed towards LGBTQ plus rights. I ain't about to get into that though. But this woman can't even be honest about the difference in the sexes of male and female, and you're about to witness that right now. So Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
This is really a question, not a suggestion. Do I understand your position to be that there are two sexes, but there can be more than two genders?
I wouldn't even say two, and we've got Dr. Lopez here as well, but there's also the definition of intersex. I think that often in these conversations we're conflating sex and gender, and I do want to affirm here that trans women are women. That is their gender.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand. Do you make a distinction between sex and gender?
Yes, sir.
Okay, explain that. Just do you think there are more than two sexes?
I believe that there's a definition for intersex as well that I want to acknowledge. But sex is assigned at birth.
Three? I'm just trying to understand. I'm thoroughly confused. So you're born, I'm talking about biology, male, female, and what else?
I believe that intersex is also acknowledged. But
Intersex.
again, I'm not a doctor here. What I can
And
say
what does intersex mean?
is that there's a difference between sex and gender. And I think in these conversations, we're conflating the two.
Well, but I want to start with sex, okay? There's male, there's female. When a baby's born, before the baby has had time to even have a sense of self, there's male, female, and intersex. There's a third sex.
I believe that is true, but I would defer to Dr. Lopez as I'm not a physician.
Okay. And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive, and the definitions are always growing. Today I can tell you, I
More
talk
than
to young
five?
Infinity. There's infinity genders.
people
More
that
than-
talk about non-binary as.
More than five?
I think the gender is not a binary, is what I'm trying
But
to say.
are there more than five genders? I'm just trying to understand. Are there more than five genders?
Well, I think that there was a time where women wearing pants didn't feel like it was appropriate for their gender, and yet I'm wearing pants today.
If
I
you
think
could
that there are
just
ways
answer
that
my
we
question.
express our
Are there
gender
more
that
than
are
five
expansive.
genders? Are there more?
That's just such a dumb, I don't get it. Like, a woman wearing pants, okay? You still a woman if you're wearing pants. Like, pants or a skirt don't make you no less of a woman biologically. Like, what's even the point? And that just goes to show you this whole gender thing. Like I said, I really do think it was just introduced to confuse, and it was just introduced as something for people to have fun with, almost like a pseudoscience. And just theorize about, because if you're a naturally born woman and you're wearing pants, that doesn't make you any less of a naturally born woman if you're wearing a skirt. It doesn't really matter. But however, people like this, the president of the HRC, think that that's relevant enough to bring up in a conversation like this. It's all about expression and what you feel like and how you dress. But who cares? That doesn't matter. That's all independently up to you. But that got nothing to do with, what you actually are. If you were born a woman, you're a woman. If you were born a man, you're a man. That's it. It's simple. We can keep it that simple.
More than five?
I wouldn't subject myself to naming how many genders there are, but what I can say is
there
that
an
gender is a
infinite number?
reflection. Excuse me?
There's an infinite number of genders?
I think depending on your culture, there are a lot of different genders that exist. And I can also say that it's a term that's evolving. If you look at young people today, they really don't lean into the binary of only woman and man. So I think that it's incumbent upon us not to legislate on this, but create space for them to explore what their identities are, what their gender identities are.
Let's get back to athletics. I think I understand what you're saying. There are three sexes, male, female, and intersex.
I believe that to be true, but again, I'm not a physician.
And
so
there are an infinite number of genders because gender is a mental state.
Gender is about expression, and I think that there are a variety of ways that you can express your gender.
Okay, so there's infinite number. All right, let's go back to the biology. Male, female, boy, girl. Okay, biologically, do males have an advantage over females biologically in sports?
Absolutely.
Again, I'm not a physician, and I can't speak to that.
What's your real world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some males that are
you don't
taller than
believe
some
that-
women and
You
some
don't
that are
believe
shorter.
that a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
This is a disingenuous answer though by her, because he asks clearly about sports. So he's not just talking about Joe Schmoes off the street. He's talking about people who are competing in sports. So if you take a man and a woman who are both equally as trained, let's just say, in whichever given sport, more than likely the man is going to be superior to the woman because they've been training for the same amount of time, but there's the genetic advantages that men have over women when it comes to physical sports that make him superior. You know, and we talking about sports here. Like I said, she talking about her racing, Uncle Leroy or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? That's not what he talking about. He talking about sports, as in, competition at the high school level, the collegiate level, national level, international level, whatever it may be. But he's talking about sports.
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben?
I'm sorry, hold up. Which men? Like, which men are she talking about that said they could beat Serena Williams? Like I said, are we talking about Joe Schmo, Uncle Leroy, Uncle Ben? Like, is that who we talking about? Of course they can't beat Serena Williams. Serena Williams been doing this for 20-something years. Serena Williams is a veteran, a GOAT when it comes to female tennis. But that's when it comes to female tennis. Now, when you compare Serena and her sister, Venus Williams, to men who have been training and competing in tennis just as long as they have, they get crushed. And Serena and Venus Williams are top, let's just say top, I'm going to just spitball it, top 10 or 5% of women when it comes to athletics, probably in the world. Like, they're very well built. They've been training for a long time. These women are highly exceptional. But the test has already been done. When Serena Williams was at her peak, doing tennis, she lost to men who were ranked like 200 or something. It's no comparison. Why are we even having this argument? The test has already been done. The trials have already been ran.
Stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben? Male, female?
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. I just think, Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I think you lose a lot of credibility when you don't concede that a biological male has physical advantages over a biological female. I mean, I just think that's a proven fact, and you really hurt your credibility. I understand you want the world to be a better place. I do too, and I don't think people ought to be discriminated against because of an immutable characteristic. I don't. And I think that I think everybody ought to be free to be themselves. And what you do in your bedroom or what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult is nobody's business. But if what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult, if I decide I want to tell somebody's child about it, then other people have rights too. And I think parents have rights.
Absolutely.
And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sport, in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony. Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chairman.
Kennedy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I what I'm trying to say is that there is not a definitive advantage in all cases. Sir, I don't know if you believe that you could beat Serena Williams in tennis, but I probably think that that's not the case. There are not all cases where all men are physically superior to all women. And at the end of the day, in this conversation, we're not talking about that. We're talking about trans women who are, in fact, women, who deserve to play in a gender that matches their sports, who deserve all the benefits that Ms. Gaines is talking about. And as a cisgender black woman, I can say definitively that my womanhood is not threatened by a transgender person asserting hers as well.
All right, guys, so there you have it. A very, I don't even know what you want to call that exchange. Again, I don't understand why she bringing up Senator Kennedy, Uncle Leroy, Uncle Ben, the dude on the street, the dude on the couch. I don't know why she bringing up these people in comparison to Serena Williams. Like, when he's asking about sports, when he's talking about women being able to compete in sports against women, he's not talking about, you know, men who haven't been competing against women. He's talking about men who have been competing in male sports. You know, for example, Leah Thomas, who was competing as a male, then transitioned to go and compete in women's sports and just started blowing these girls out of the water. That's what he's talking about. He's saying that women should have the right to participate in their own sports amongst only women, not men who feel like women, but actual natural born women. And like I said, these laws and things like that that are being put on the books and introduced are for the protection of women and children. I mean, we've seen women get hurt and women be hurt competing against men in plenty of sports, volleyball, MMA. You know, we've seen it. And I mean, the genetic advantage that men have over women in sports just it clearly displays. It's on clear display whenever you see it happening in real time. And just quickly to tie up the Serena Williams knot that she tried to bring up, Serena Williams went on late night TV and said herself that she doesn't want no smoke competing with any men in tennis.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you when it comes to tennis. I only want to play girls. Yeah. We got that.
There you have it. Serena Williams, a legend, a GOAT in her respective sport, admitted that there is a vast difference and distinction between male tennis and female tennis. She said it's not even the same sport. It's that much different. So why is this woman bringing that up as if that's a good point when Serena Williams already debunked that point? It just doesn't make any sense. But that's all I got for you guys on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And until next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.